I mean, I've been fortunate. I've never had like big injuries, never had surgeries and stuff. I don't know. I mean, thing is nowadays you have so much access to like sports science, recovery thing, that when I started playing, which is even not that long ago, 2007, you never had ice baths on tour or, I don't know, even like compression boots. Like, there's so much more that we have access to that kind of keep you going. And also like financial incentives, you know, like we're getting paid more than ever before. So, you know, if you can squeeze an extra 2-3 years on your career, like it's worth it, right?
And what are the miles on the clock like? Is the body holding up pretty well?
Honestly, I'm fine. Yeah. Honestly, I feel absolutely fine. Maybe like my mobility, like hips and stuff, kind of start to go. But that's something you have to, you know, you can work on that. But again, like I'm playing doubles. I'm not running so much like lateral stuff. For me is, you know, forward and back, whatever. You know, your first step is important because it's explosive and that's it. But I feel fine.
He's doing well.
We call it in Scotland. Andy's been succumbed to
That's it, yeah.
Jamie's hips are fine. I don't know what that's telling us, Jamie. Anyway, move on from that. Right, interesting to see you. Great turnout, as always, for Wimbledon. And I've always wanted the chance to speak to you about Sean Connery coming to watch.
I never met him.
Did you never meet him?
Yeah, no. So this story's done. Yeah,
move on. No, you never got a chance to meet him. Who's the one person you got to meet through playing in your career that you were actually genuinely? Because we were talking about Ben Stiller, Will Smith.
But John Cena was there yesterday.
John Cena, in the Roblox.
That's one person that I probably would have loved to go meet yesterday.
What would you say to him if you had the chance to speak?
I don't know. Like, I'm a big fan. I watched WWE growing up, and seeing him, like, he's just so like polar opposite to the person I think would come to watch Wimbledon.
Yeah.
But he looked good. He looked clean as.
Yeah, I gave it a big like double take when I saw it on Instagram today. Yeah,
was he big?
Was there, I didn't see him in person, but in the photos, I mean,
Jamie he could have him. No bother.
You think so?
Yeah, easily.
With these pipes.
When you've got a fish supper in your face, Jamie,
deep fried Mars.
There's no coming back from that. But Beckham was there again yesterday. You know, you're a massive Manchester United fan.
Yeah, Mum was there yesterday. Actually, I saw watching.
Yeah, she went Royal Box. Yeah,
I saw. Yeah,
she went Royal Box.
She gets good tickets, Judy, doesn't she?
Yeah, she kept that to herself. She didn't tell me.
But yeah, again, like having a football legend like Beckham watching, does that ever play a part when do you ever get nervous with somebody watching like that?
Not really. I mean, you kind of like you're aware if you play on centre court, you're aware because the Royal Box is literally right there. Like you kind of know who's there, and sometimes you kind of like who's there. But I think you're in the match, like you're in the zone, you're doing your stuff. Like
doesn't change his language, does it?
No, but that's okay. But you wouldn't want him to, you know, like if he suddenly came out and he was just like a mouse or whatever.
Yeah, they'd be like, they want to shake me. What's
exactly.
Exactly. Did you ever alter your swearing at all for the occasion? Just like take it away from the F-bombs to something a little bit more serene?
Well, I didn't think I was that bad, honestly. I thought I was pretty well behaved in the final, but obviously not when I saw some of the photos from afterwards.
But you get lost in the moment, right? Like
you're just trying to compete.
Yeah.
How many rackets have you smashed?
Nah, I've not smashed rackets. The thing is, I don't earn enough to be able to afford to smash the rackets. That's the thing. So I got to be a bit more careful.
You're still
with
doing all right, Mr.
behavior,
Murray. Are you not? You're still doing all right.
Okay.
Different game. Right. We're going to talk a little bit about the tennis because a fair few upsets so far. And can you take us through what's happened today and yesterday that's caught your eye?
Well, I think over the first 2 days of Wimbledon, there's been the most upsets ever recorded. Or tied for the most upsets in Open era history.
Why is that, do you think?
Well, I mean, whether it's to do with the heat, but I think it's just Wimbledon in general. I think all the top guys want to play their best tennis here. All the top women want to play their best tennis here. And I think they put a lot of pressure on themselves. And some of these underdogs, like the great British players are coming out with no pressure, swinging. They took down, Popperin looked, Ferry took him down pretty easy. But I don't know whether it's just the Wimbledon pressure. But, I mean, one guy that really impressed me today, I sat there and watched the last two sets, was Cameron Norrie. Taking it to Tiafoe, number 12 seed.
Played well today, right?
Yeah, he played well. And I think someone that's made the semi-finals here before, Norrie's going to fly under the radar, and he's got a genuine chance to stir something up.
What do you think, Jamie? Do you think, or have you noticed in your experience that people raise their game for Wimbledon?
For me, it's the biggest tournament in the world. Yeah. Maybe not for everyone, but for me it is. And people get inspired, right? People get inspired whether it's on centre court or court 19. Like it's playing at Wimbledon, it's what you grew up kind of dreaming of, and to get that opportunity to play, like. Yeah, people want to give it their best and give it that extra, 5%, 10% that maybe they wouldn't in Eastbourne last week. Like Nick said, like there's a lot of pressure. People want to do well at this tournament, and pressure can work both ways, right?
Yeah, I found that interesting. Good stat today that Coco Gauff, the last time she went out early in Wimbledon, she went on to win a major. Could that happen again?
Well, I mean, look, like I just think to follow Jamie's point, it's like. even like the locker rooms and just the energy around it. Like I feel like when I sit in the locker room in Wimbledon, it's different to any other Grand Slam. Like I just feel like I put more pressure on myself to go out there and try and be perfect. And the preparation, I try and do everything on the practice court maybe neater than I would. You know, I'd carry another bag, which I never really do at a Grand Slam. Like
classic that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. People
explain this to me. Explain this to me. What's that? What
I don't know.
Like?
It's just like when you grow up, like even, you know, I wasn't a big tennis fan growing up, but I knew what Wimbledon was. And it's just like, you know, one day when you tell your kids that, you know, you wanted to do well at one tournament, it would be this one. You know, that was my, I mean, when I'm here, that's just the feeling I have, but I'm not too sure. Like,
and everything's like prim and proper, and you've got the whites, and the grass is like beautiful, and I don't know, like it hits there. You've got the flowers everywhere, and the people are all dressed up. Like it's a different atmosphere to any other tournament we play
like
through the year.
Like when's the last time we saw Coco Gauff? Like she looked a bit overwhelmed yesterday. I felt like she lost a tight first set. And then it kind of just, when it rains, it poured. Like, she couldn't really get back into it. I feel like at any other slam, she may have fought back. But here, it's just like, Ystremska just came out, like, swinging and just trampled all over us. So.
I realise it probably seems academic to you two, but as a fan watching, it looks different without the line judges. It does look a little bit more empty.
I want to get Jamie's
take
Jamie,
on this. What do you think?
I think they should have kept them.
So Wimbledon is obviously famous for not really having, like, any sponsor logos and stuff on the back. Like, that's... I haven't really paid that much attention to it. Personally, as a player, I prefer the no line judges, like it's all done electronically because there's no mistakes, but it gets rid of all the jeopardy and stuff like that, which brings, you know, tension and stuff. So like I get that, but I mean, you know what it's like let's say you play a great point, you've got an easy ball to finish it off, and the umpire calls it out, and you challenge, you know it's in, and then you got to start from scratch again, so you lose that advantage. Like that's what I guess most players probably are on board with the electronic line calling, I would say.
What about you, Nick? I feel like you're holding back.
I just feel like Wimbledon should have been the one tournament where they didn't change any of their traditions.
Yeah.
You know, look at, you know, you can't be serious. Like, we're still playing that one line.
Yeah.
Like 50 years later, you know, all these amazing altercations.
He's done well at that line, isn't he?
That's what I'm saying. It's put him in movies.
You
know, McEnroe's probably made $10+ million just from that line.
Yeah.
But me, like, I've had my funnest times, like, you know, arguing with umpires, and I just feel like you won't get that anymore. But I just think Wimbledon should have stick to the true traditions, and everywhere else could have had electronic line calls. But that's
I say the same thing. Like, you know, there's been incidents over the last few years where, you know, players have got themselves into bother with umpires or whatever, and you know, there's been arguments which, you know, whether that's positive or negative, it's still what's the word I'm looking for
jeopardy.
Here? No, but it's still like it's still publicity for the sport. You know,
it's
drawing eyes on the sport.
Yeah.
So
well,
now there's no
content. Now.
Content. Here we go. Yeah. So there's no chance to get that anymore because you're not going to see a player like wrap his racket round the umpire's chair. You know, because
which is good though.
Yeah,
like, I want to do that. I'm not going to just sit there like.
It's funny you mention that because Nick, I don't know if I sent you the clip, but there's a great clip of you where a line judge calls foot fault.
Yeah.
And you've questioned it.
Yeah, and that's
but
like...
the umpire's buried you though, isn't it?
Yeah, and I was like, okay, well played. Like, too good.
You can
like,
see, like, okay.
Sometimes you don't always win those altercations either, but, you know. I mean, it's a sad day in tennis for Wimbledon with electronic line calls.
We need a little bit more of that.